The rising and the setting of the sun. The changing of the seasons. All living things are in synchrony with these events as the earth rotates on its axis and revolves around the sun. Yet there are times when we feel out of sync, sometimes to the extreme. Mental health professionals call this seasonal affective disorder or seasonal depression. If you've experienced it, then you know it's not just the winter blues. The acronym for seasonal affective disorder, SAD or SAD, is appropriate to the condition. How do we define SAD? What are the symptoms? Seasonal affective disorder is a subtype of major depression. It has more than one classification, but is always characterized by seasonal onset and remission of symptoms. Winter SAD is quite well known. It's often mistaken for the winter blues. Onset of symptoms occurs in late September or early October, with a peak in the deep winter months of January and February, and remission by April or May, even without treatment. Summer SAD has onset in the spring and remits in the fall. In contrast to winter SAD, summer SAD manifests more as anxiety or agitation. Reverse SAD also occurs during the spring and summer months and remits in the fall, but it's more typical of the manic or hypomanic states of bipolar disorder, with symptoms that may include persistently elevated mood and hyperactivity. Subsyndromal SAD is what we know as the winter blues. Symptoms are much less severe, duration is shorter, often appearing around the holidays and remitting after the cabin fever days of January and February. Seasonal affective disorder shares symptomology with major depression. Depression itself is a broad spectrum disorder. Its indicators can differ widely. It can affect mood, with a sad, anxious, empty feeling, or feelings of guilt, worthlessness, and hopelessness, irritability, restlessness, even suicidal thinking. There can be a loss of interest in activities which were once pleasurable, social withdrawal, even changes in sex drive. Appetite might increase or decrease, as well as weight, and sleep patterns may be characterized by hypersomnia, excessive sleep, or insomnia, lack of sleep. And physical symptoms can include fatigue, trouble concentrating, and aches and pains. Winter SAD and summer SAD are characterized by symptoms at the opposite ends of the spectrum of major depressive disorder. We've already looked at mood state and the differences between winter SAD and summer SAD. Take a moment to look at other indicators here on this table and note the differences between the two disorders. How do I know if I have seasonal affective disorder? Well, I've got the symptoms and I've experienced significant impairment in my daily living in terms of work or school, social activities, family life, energy level. I've also experienced seasonal recurrence of symptoms, or I may have been diagnosed by a mental health professional or taken a self-assessment. Check this website for links to self-assessments for seasonal affective disorder. Most self-assessments ask a variation of these two questions. Do you experience change with the seasons in terms of mood, appetite, weight, social activity, energy level, and sleep length? And how much of a problem are these changes? Mild, moderate, severe, disabling? If severe or disabling, it's time to get help. Thanks for taking the time to view this presentation. Other segments on winter SAD can be accessed from this webpage. They include winter SAD and the environment, winter SAD and our biological clocks, and treatment for winter SAD with a focus on light therapy.